Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm gonna go ahead and get into it right now. This is a post-fight vid between Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz for the WBO heavyweight title. Joseph Parker is the victor, becoming the first New Zealander, or Kiwi by that matter, to become world champion. And congratulations to Joseph. It was a very tough fight against a very formidable opponent. The fight itself wasn't quite exciting. I mean, it was a good fight, but it wasn't a explosion. It wasn't like oohs and it wasn't a high climatic fight, I should say. And a few things I noticed. The takeaways I noticed from this fight is that Joseph fought a much rangier and in distance type of fight. And his chin was tucked in, which I was very impressed because he kept his chin tucked in. He wasn't fighting so squared up. He showed a little bit more head movement. And the most impressive thing that he's shown is that his stamina. I mean, he actually had more energy in the tank, as people will call it, to go all 12 rounds. Because as you recall, in the Carlos Takam fight, he was gassed and extremely tired after the fourth round, which forced him to fight more in the inside. And he was so squared up, and he was taking shots, unnecessary shots from Taco, man, which Kevin Barry was, visibly and vocally angry with him about employing those type of tactics and fighting that way, particularly in a way where he was just trying so hard to get Taco out, in that fight. Knowingly that Taco was a very world class opponent, which is actually the first world class opponent that he fought. Pretty much at his best, whatnot. So definitely showed some major improvements there as far as his energy and conditioning, stamina, and his physical condition is concerned, right there. So, but the one thing I would have to say about Andy Ruiz is that Andy Ruiz is a very impressive fighter. I'm sorry, regardless if he's fat or not, but don't let the physique fool you. He's a dangerous fighter coming in the inside, and that's why Parker employed the tactics from the distance as much as he could, because he knew that if he came inside, he was giving Ruiz a chance to throw those combinations, and Ruiz is very quick. And for most part of the fight, he was getting the best of Parker in those exchanges every time the fight came in the inside. But to be fair, though, Joseph did show. There were some moments in some of the rounds where he had showed some that he got the best of Ruiz in the exchanges. But at the same time, Joseph wanted to stick to a game plan. He didn't want to get drawn into that type of fight, knowing that would be the only chance Ruiz could win it. Needless to say, this was a very close fight, though. I had it scored 115, 113 for Joseph. The judges scored it. Two of the three judges scored the same exact score. One judge scored the draw. So, yeah, it was a very, very close fight. Could have gone either way, but I felt that Ruiz just didn't, in my opinion, he kind of took his foot off the gas in the later rounds. So, like the last 5 rounds, he kind of took his foot off the gas. So, yeah, definitely a good fight. But again, it was not a very climatic fight. It did have some moments in there. So, yeah, congratulations to Joseph. Well-deserved win. He worked his way up. He's a world champion. So, yeah, what's next for Joseph Parker? I'll tell you what, though. David Haye is the mandatory challenger. The WBO did install him as mandatory, which is ludicrous in my opinion, because David Haye hasn't even fought anyone to even claim the mandatory status. He hasn't even fought even one eliminator. His last two opponents weren't even ranked. So, well, other than Mark DeMore, he was ranked in the top 10 in the WBA. But other than that, Arnold Jurjai. Now he's fighting a cruiserweight Tony Bellew. Come on, man. Does David Haye really deserve that position? Well, I mean, that's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. Okay? I just believe that David Haye, for him to leapfrog everyone else in the rankings, like that, it's unjust, because those guys are, the ones who are actually putting in the work. They're the ones who are fighting in eliminators. They're the ones who are fighting much tougher and prime opponents, while David Haye is getting a pass only because of his his name and his or you could say because of his name and his status as a fighter. So yeah, all I can say is I hope the WBO reconsider their position on that and not give David Haye that mandatory position. I really hope they'll rescind it. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out as as details further develops. As far as Andy Ruiz is concerned, based off this performance, I can say that I think he's going to be a very avoided heavyweight, very avoided, because this guy is just like his. It's like he is unbelievable with those combinations. I mean, we all knew he puts his punches together very well, but it just wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd be surprised, given it's the performance, that he'll get another immediate title shot, because I think he'll be avoided by some of these heavyweights, to be honest with you. But then again, who knows? I mean, the heavyweight division, it is a good start to get it back to the position that where it needs to be. So I hope he does. Andy Ruiz does get another title shot sooner rather than later. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But I'm gonna drop a link to the article. I'm sorry, the article. I ain't dropping no links at all. So, anyways, y'all, what do you guys think about this performance for Joseph Parker? Did you see the fight? Did you score the fight differently than I did? Did you have Andy Ruiz win the fight? Just let me know. Care to comment, share, subscribe. Signing off. Peace.